All right, another step-by-step guide for Google Ads search. This time we're focused on dentists. Lots of search traffic out there for local dentistry. I know dentists have a lot of services these days. They want to advertise things like implants and Invisalign and all sorts of great cross-selling opportunities and services on the table. We're actually just going to build a pretty simple campaign focused on dentists for a very specific reason. That's where the bulk of search traffic is. And if you're new to Google Ads, if you've never done it or you've never done it for yourself before, this is a really good place to start. We want to do Google search. That's where the user has the most intent. So you've probably heard of things like Performance Max and call only ads. You maybe even run or tried local service ads as well. I like to start with search. Again, this is for somebody who might be new to Google Ads or just might be interested in learning more about what their campaigns are doing if someone else is running them or if you've been running them yourselves. This might be a great tutorial for understanding some of the basic concepts and some of the options you have inside the Google Ads dashboard. So we're going to jump right in. I'm going to use my Google Ads account. So I am not a dentist, but we will use my website as the website here. So keep that in mind as we build this out that you want to use, of course, your website for your dentist practice. But the first thing before we get started is let's go do some homework together. Let's get an idea of the search volume in our area. I'm here in beautiful Clearwater, Florida. So we're going to do a quick search for a few terms, and I'll show you how to use this tool. But this is the first place we want to start with is just doing some homework. Let's collect some data and find out how many people in our area, either in our city or in our county or in our state, wherever we cover, how many people are actually searching for us, and then how can we use that to our advantage. So once you log into Google Ads, the left-hand side, we're going to go to Tools. We're going to go all the way up to Planning and select Keyword Planner. We're going to use this middle option, Get Search Volume and Forecast. And I'm going to put in dentist near me and click Get Started. We're going to add more than that, don't worry. Now, by default, it's going to show us the traffic for the entire United States. So I'm going to hover over that and hit that pencil, and I'm going to change that to Clearwater, Florida. Now, when we actually run a campaign, we're not going to use the municipal cutouts like this. See how harsh these lines are and how it leaves gaps? Not really a good way to target. So we have to do that when we're doing things in our planning tool. That's okay. I'm going to add some areas that are surrounding to try to fill in some of these gaps because I know the area. And you can do the same. And you can also put in the county that you reside in. Depending on how big your county is, that might make sense. So just pick some areas that you know you want to cover. I'm picking out some very select areas. I know people around here are willing to travel. We're looking at really, if I was doing a radius, this would be about 10 to 12 mile radius, so it wouldn't be very big. And let's go down here. And just in those little communities I selected in roughly an 8 to 10 mile radius of, let's say, my dental practice, there's over 3,600 people looking for a dentist near me. That alone could be a campaign by itself, right? Let's get some other ideas so just so we understand how voluminous dentist near me is. Up here at the top, we're going to hit keyword ideas, and we're going to just put in dentist and hit get results. Now it's going to give us a lot of different keyword ideas. We're going to select the ones we like and put them in our plan. So general dentist you see has the most. We're actually not going to use that. That's too general, especially if you use broad match or phrase match keywords, which we are, and we're going to get to in our build here in a second. But that's going to pick up the names of all the other practices around us. Now, you could add all those competitor names as negative keywords, and I advise that you do that with the big ones. But there's so many that you probably don't know about, you're going to end up spending money on. So this is too broad. I don't like it. We see that there is actually pretty good traffic for dental implants. Again, it's defaulting to the entire United States. Once we put it in our plan, it's going to focus just on those areas we picked up. Orthodontist, I'm just curious to see what that is. We'll go ahead and throw in clinic, pediatric, teeth whitening, we'll add those. And let's go up here and add keywords to plan. I'm going to reorganize by monthly search just to make sure I'm not missing. A lot of people looking for Delta Dentist. All right, I like my selections. Tooth bleaching's in there too. That goes along with teeth whitening. Let's add that to the keyword plan. All right, let's go take a look. So all the way at the top, we're going to click on saved keywords. That's where our plan is. Now we're going to those communities here in Florida that I selected. And let's scroll down. So I've like dentist near me, dental clinic near me. walk-in dentist. Now, you might not be a walk-in dentist, you might want appointments. So I'm actually not going to include that one because that's usually for a very specific type of dental practice that we're not focused on today. So really, there's plenty, but I wanted to add these lower volume search terms just to show you how big dentist near me is. This is what the bulk of people are searching for, or how they're searching for a dentist when they are in the need for one. Is they're just going to Google and saying dentist near me. Okay, so here's the thing: we're going to build one campaign with one geography, one budget, one objective. And inside that campaign, we might have multiple ad groups. I'm going to build one around this dentist near me keyword, but you might go back and add more. If you also do pediatric dental work, you might have an ad group around pediatric keywords. If you do teeth whitening, you might add another ad group for teeth whitening, and so on and so forth for implants as well. There's decent search volume for that. People are looking for it, but the bulk of the budget is probably going to be spent on people looking for a local dentist. We're going to include some other keywords with location descriptors in there, and I'll show you that here in a second. But I want you to focus on your homework before you build a Google Ads campaign. You have to understand where the volume is. And a lot of business owners might have an idea of what they want to spend money on, and then they get disappointed when they don't get anything for it. And I always say, well, did you look at the keyword volume? Were people searching the way you thought they would for that service? And usually the answer is no, and that's why the campaign didn't perform very well. So do your homework first. All right, I'm going to click over here on the left-hand side on campaigns, and I'm going to build a new campaign with this big blue button, new campaign. All right, first step, build an objective. We want leads. This is going to be true for most brick and mortar lead gen type businesses. We want leads. We want people to schedule appointments, fill out forms, and pick up the phone and call us. These objectives don't necessarily change the campaign at all. Really, what we're doing here is telling Google what we're up to, and they're going to come up with all these suggestions they want to email and call you about. It's not based on your dental practice in Clearwater. It's based on this right here, just your general objective, what you're trying to accomplish. I'm going to hit leads. Now, I've got some goals set up already in my Google Ad account for phone calls and form submissions. And before you build a Google Ad campaign, I highly recommend that you do that. The easiest way to do that is to connect your Google Analytics account to Google Ads, and any pre-existing goals set up in Analytics can then be imported directly to Google Ads. I will show you how to do that here when we're done building this campaign. If you have not set up Google Analytics, I recommend doing that first before you spend money on ads. And then if you don't have any goals set up, like for a form fill or schedule an appointment, I highly recommend getting that done as well. And if you need help with that, I think that there's some great options on Upwork and Fiverr. There are people all over the world who just do that. They just set up conversion goals. They know analytics like the back of their hand. They know Google Tag Manager like the back of their hand. They are extremely affordable. And once those goals are established, they should last in perpetuity as long as your website doesn't have any major changes to it. They will last for years and years. It's always worth it. We have to be able to measure success inside our Google Ads dashboard. We have to be able to measure our return on investment. So these are goals that are created in analytics, and I've imported over to my Google Ad campaign, and I'm going to hit continue in the bottom right-hand corner. All right. So lots of campaign types. I mentioned this at the top of the video. We're focused on search today because this is where the user has the highest intent. So therefore, it makes it the best place for us to start if we're new to Google Ads. People go to Google search to solve a problem. Where's a dentist near me? All right, how are we going to reach our goal? Well, actually, I'm going to reach my goal by sending them to my website, okay? Because that's where I'm going to collect information. And again, we're using my website as an example for today. I'm not a dentist. Don't try to practice or schedule an appointment with me for that reason. You will be very disappointed. It would have to be virtual to begin with, unless you're here in Clearwater. The campaign name does not matter. As long as it's recognizable to you, I'm just going to put local dentist so I can hit continue here. You can see I was building one before for an example, but we're going to hit start new. All right, this is really important. How do you want to bid for this traffic? You've got four options. You can bid based on conversions, conversion value, clicks, or impression share. I always start a new campaign for clicks. All right, we just want to get traffic, we want to collect some data, and then as we refine it, and once we start seeing conversions come through, we're going to switch to this top one, conversions. All right, but we start out with clicks, we move up to conversions. If you were an e-commerce store, I would talk to you about conversion value, where we're really measuring the return on ad spend based on the sales that we're generating. We're lead gen. And if we were a big brand and we had several locations, I would talk to you about bidding by impression share. And that would be making sure that we show up at the top of the page for those brand search queries all the time. So in this case, for lead gen, we're going to start with clicks. And then after we get some conversions in the account, as we make refinements in our accounts, we're going to switch to conversions. So today we're going to select clicks. We want traffic. We want data. All right. We are not going to bid for new customers only. We're not bidding on our name or anything like that. So this is not as relevant. So don't get caught up on this. But when it says bid on new and existing customers, it means that technically this ad will be shown to people who maybe have visited your website before, which is fine for me. And this, again, we're with lead gen, it's okay if they've been to the website before. So I'm going to hit next. All right, this is really important. By default, Google wants to include their search partners and their display network. Now, their display network are those banner ads you see on ESPN.com and weather.com. And you can only imagine how those look in text form with no imagery. Not very good. We're going to deselect that. We're also going to deselect the search partners. Again, we're using a click-based bid strategy with a really small group of keywords. We're also going to start with a small budget, which we'll get to here in a second. And so we're going to start really conservatively. All right. Google, show me the money, give me some calls, give me some appointments, and I will scale my budget and add some of these networks if they're applicable to my business. But first, we're going to start really conservative. I just want to show up on google.com search results. Locations. All right, we talked about this a little bit when I was doing my keyword research. Looks like there's four options. There's really more. We're going to put enter another location. We're not going to use this field right here, okay? Because this is, you see the example, county or country, city, region, or postal code. A lot of people just use that because it's the default. I want you to put or click advanced search right here on the right. And this all of a sudden brings up another option, which is radius targeting, which I think is the best for local brick and mortar businesses. Zip code targeting and then those municipal lines that you cut out, if you just put in the city, are very harsh. They're imperfect at best, and they limit impressions. You're going to get the best impressions or the most impressions in your area if you use a radius. And think small. Population density is important to understand. If you're in a rural area, you can go broader. If you are in downtown Dallas or Los Angeles or Chicago, then you need to think small, like 5, maybe even 7 mile radius, but nothing bigger than that. So here in Florida, I'm going to use a radius targeting and I'm going to put, I think I want to do 10. Again, that's going to cover a pretty good area, about 20 minutes. And you see the default's 20. So I'm going to hover over here and just change that 2 to a 1 and hit save. That's perfect. Again, this is that 10-mile radius. We're talking 12, 15 minutes. That's within range. Everyone living and working here is willing to travel inside this bubble right here. So I'm going to hit save. So again, play around with this, but don't forget it and don't think that it's not important. Spend some time to really play with it, manipulate the radius, use different targeting, and try to find out what you know you're going to feel comfortable with, but always be conservative. Think small. Again, once we have success, we can scale this thing up. Don't start that way, all right? Google Ads is in the bonfire business, but you have to start the fire before you go to a bonfire. Start small with everything you do. You're going to see me say, be conservative, start small. Be conservative, start small, right? With everything, with all parts of this campaign. Don't get lost in this geography. Start small, own your own backyard. Population density matters. Again, if you're in a big city, think smaller than 10 miles. Do 5, maybe even 7. You don't need to do a 10-mile radius in something that has large population density. We're going to hit save right here. We're not done with our locations. There's a little trick down here. Location options, which is hidden. We're going to click that and expand it. And it wants presence or interest. So I live in Clearwater, and there are always tourists here. I don't want people who are interested. I want people who are here or regularly here. So make that distinction for your location if it's important. I live in a place that's full of tourists, so it's very important that who are just interested in this area don't see my ads when they're looking for a dentist back in Cincinnati, right? Languages we're going to leave alone. If you are bilingual or if you want to target a specific language like Spanish because you have a large Spanish speaking community in your area, I recommend building a new campaign and writing those ads in Spanish and targeting Spanish. Do not commingle the languages that you're trying to get. So don't put Spanish in here. Leave this English speaking, and then you can build a new campaign and select Spanish, and then you'll write those ads in Spanish as well. Audience segment. Google offers a lot of affinity and in-market audiences that you can select here. Now we use my website to build this, so it's trying to be generous and find me some interesting ones, like people who are interested in SEO and advertising, which is great. We're not going to have too many options. Anything in healthcare is going to be almost non-existent because it's regulated. They have got very strict policies. So you can say I put in dentist and there's no results. So we can do broader things and look for things like health and wellness. And there's health insurance, there's people looking for work, education, healthcare industry, health and fitness buffs. So there's some things on the peripheral, but nothing direct, unfortunately, directly related to healthcare. Other industries they do. You can for people who are buying a new car or a used car, there's very specific in-market audience for those. But again, because of their healthcare policies, we don't have a lot of targeting. So what does that mean? It's not going to change the overall performance of the campaign in the long run. It's nice to use these. They're observational at best. So just understand what it is, and you can go in here and add all sorts of things. If you're in an area, there's home and garden, there's all these affinity audiences. I'm not going to get caught up on this for a dentist right now. It might be something I circle back around after a while, but I'm just explaining what it is. So as you're building it, and if for anyone else watching, you know that you have those options. I'm going to scroll down. We're not going to use broad match keywords, and I'm going to hit next. All right, Google has some pretty powerful AI tools these days, and feel free to play along with these. They're actually pretty strong. It grabs my URL, it writes its own little description here, and I can hit this blue generate button. It's actually going to come up with ad examples and keywords and the whole nine yards. Pretty powerful. We're not going to do that. I like control. I want to be in control of every aspect of my ad from the keywords to the ad copy. So I'm going to hit skip. Also, because I'm not a dentist, I really don't want it to build one for my marketing agency. I'm gonna hit skip, but feel free to play with our AI tools and see how good it is. What I've noticed is that its tool is as good as your website. So if you have a website that doesn't have a lot of good language on it, it's pretty simple, then the results aren't going to be very good. If you've got a really robust website with keyword density for your product or service, it tends to do a pretty dang good job. All right, we talked about the keywords we're going to use, so I'm just going to go back up here and put dentist near me. I'm going to talk about why they're in why I'm writing like this in phrases. This is called phrase match when I put the parentheses around them. I'm going to start with these three. So phrase match, when I put them in parentheses like this, I'm telling Google's algorithm, hey, they need to use these words or synonyms of these words, but they don't have to be exact. So you can show people who say dentist near me in Largo, Florida. Best local dentist in Clearwater, best dentist in Pinellas County, right? So it's going to pick up all these peripheral keyword and search queries that we don't actually have to bid directly on, all right? So there's also broad match, which includes no parentheses, and that says Google, hey, anything even remotely close to it, you can show my ad for. And that's when we tend to see a lot of competitor names like Dr. Justin, Dr. Golden's Dental Practice, right? Everyone that's not our business. So I don't like pure broad match in this sense. And then there's also something called exact match. And exact match is when you put the keyword in brackets like this. And then you're telling Google, only show my ad when someone searches exactly like this. Broad match probably seems like a really good fit for you. You might be thinking that's really logical. It actually really limits impressions, and you'll be shocked to learn how people look for your business. And we'll talk about that after we build the campaign and how we can actually see those results. So for now, you're gonna have to trust me and use phrase match. Again, we're starting small, we're starting conservative. Yes, there are other keywords to bid on. We are starting small. We know the volume is going to be focused around dentists near me anyway. So if Google can show me the money, make my phone ring, get me some people in chairs in my dental practice, I'm happy to expand this. One of the biggest reasons we don't want to come in here and build a bonfire from day one is that if it does not work, will you be able to understand, identify what component of your campaign did not work, right? If we go in here and build these complicated campaigns with 50, 100. I've seen campaigns with thousands of keywords, several examples of ad copy going to different pages on the website, targeting huge geographical areas, multiple radiuses around multiple cities, and it just doesn't work. Well, why? What component? If we start small and start conservative, it's going to be really, really easy for us to get an understanding of what's working and what's not and why. I'm going to go down here and we're going to start building our ad. All right, let's go down. Now, it pre-filled some language from previous ads I've run. I have an existing account. So that's kind of a cool tool. If you have an existing Google Ad account and you've run ads before, it might populate some ad examples, try to save you some time. Now, remember, this is from my marketing agency, so we actually do want to change this. So I'm just going to put some keywords in here. Got to spell them right, though. Try to include some of the keywords you're bidding on in your ad copy. And we also want to put call to actions. All right, you get the idea. Let's see. So try to fill out as many headlines as you possibly can, at least 10. Use specific things about your practice. So you might put in a headline that you do, you know, teeth whitening and implants and more. So if there's certain things that you want to include in there that are specific to your practice, put them in. Put plenty of call to actions. Um, let's see, you can put call today, call now, accepting appointments. Here's the reality. I get asked a lot about with from like existing clients. Hey, can you make my ad copy more, I don't know, spicy, make it more colorful, right? It's kind of bland. And I say, yeah, Google actually prefers bland ad copy. They don't like things that aren't relevant to the user's search query. So somebody that searches dentist near me, they're likely to pull the headline of a local dentist located in Clearwater, Florida, as the two headlines because of its relationship to the user search query. They're not going to show some of these other headlines. Some of these won't see the light of day because they're just not going to be correlated to the user's search query. So think about what the user sees and why they're seeing it. When you understand what they're searching for, you'll understand why your click-through rate's higher when you tie in those search queries to your ad copy. Descriptions, fill these out. This is where you can put information about your hours, your location, how long you've been in business. You can expand on some of those specific services you offer, like veneers or implants or teeth whitening or bleaching. You can say who your target audience is. You know, we work with kids or we work with people of all ages. A lot of people from a dentist these days like to hear things about being gentle. So be descriptive, use all four, and just expand upon your service and what makes you unique, and go ahead and throw a couple call to actions in there as well. Images, I recommend using these images. Images can definitely expand or make your click-through rate higher when people see those. So you can use your website right here, just copy and paste your URL. And if you got some good images on your website, it's going to populate them right here. It'll also populate your Facebook account using that URL, and you can pull images from your Facebook account. If you don't have any of those or you don't like the images, you can upload, or you can also use their free stock images. So we can put in here, dentist, and pull some of these images if we like them, right? Don't get too caught up in thinking the images have to be like perfect. They're going to be tiny next to the ad. It's just the visual aspect of being adjacent to an ad that increases the click-through rate. It's not the actual images. It would have to be pretty offensive for it to not earn a click, right? So remember, this is going to be really small next to our ad, and where it's going to increase our click-through rate. So what it does is it just reinforces that the user is clicking and found the right thing when they see images related to what they were searching for. So pick a few images and hit save. Oh, let's see. We got to get another image in here. Hang on. There we go. We need a square image. That's fine. Okay. You can put your business name. Now, technically, the business name here and business logo, you have to be a verified advertiser, and we're going to circle back and show you how to do that as well. But for now, I'm just going to put in my business name. You're going to put in your business name. I recommend putting at least 4 site links. So site link extensions lead to a specific page on your website and show up beneath the ad description. So if you mention things like teeth whitening or veneers or implants, you might put a link to that specific page on your website using these site link extensions. We're offering people two things. One, we're trying to take up more real estate on search results. We're trying to expand this ad and bump out our competitors. Two, we're allowing the user to go directly to the thing that they might be interested in. Yes, if someone clicked on or searched for dentist near me, they're looking for a dentist. That's how they search for dentist, even if they know they want to talk to a dentist about Invisalign, right? So the search query was dentist near me. We showed them a great ad, and then below we might reinforce that they're the right people to reach because we mentioned Invisalign in our site link extension. Callouts are great to add. Again, we're taking up real estate here. You might put things that you work with specific insurance carriers, and you might name those out in your callouts, or that your hours or how long you're open for. We take, after work, we're open on the weekend, call today for an assessment, things like that. Add all of these attributes to your ads because they take up space. You see on the right here, it's giving you an example of a site link extension. It says pay per click and white label. So those go to specific pages on my website. I'm going to hit next. Here's where we select the budget. I don't really care what your budget is for a campaign. Always start small. Never go with your full budget. Wants a daily budget. So let's say you wanted to spend, 30 bucks a day, 50 bucks a day. Start small. Spend $5 for 2 days. All right. Hit next. And we're going to get to why here in just a second. I just got to get through here and save this. And all right, yeah, it says my keywords. We're going to request an exception. This is because Google's got updated healthcare policies. So it said, hey, this is health and personalized advertising because you have these dental keywords. Now, ultimately, mine aren't going to. I'm going to hit request an exception and hit save. Will not get approved because they're going to go back and crawl my website and go, this guy's not a dentist. Yours should get approved because you are a dentist. Okay, so hit next. Set your budget and hit next. And this is going to save. We're going to publish this campaign. And now we're going to talk about a few different things that once you launch, you need to pay close attention to. This is where people make a lot of mistakes. They build it and they start spending money, and then they don't think about optimizing it and making it even better. All right, I mentioned launching at a really small budget despite what your true budget is. Start small for a few days, all right? We want to collect some data. We want to see what your cost per click is. We want to see what your click-through rate is. All right, your click-through rate should be north, I would say, 5 to 7%, depending on the level of competition, would be good for now. You want double-digit click-through rates, all right? That's a vanity metric at first, but it's really important because it's going to tell us how our ad is seen and by the user, right? So a high click-through rate means that we're putting the right ad in front of the right person. That's a good sign. We want that. We want a high click-through rate. Cost per click is going to show you how competitive it is, and it might affect your overall budget. Are clicks $3, $4? Or are they 10, 15? So we want to understand how that affects our budget. So start small and then just stair step it. All right. If you start to see success, bump it up to $10 a day and then 15. But be conservative. The biggest thing you're going to do though is we're going to log into your account, and under insights and reports here on the left, you're going to go to search terms, and you're going to learn exactly how people are searching for your products. I mentioned that uh, we're going to have just a few keywords, right? But then we're going to see a ton of actual search queries. So this is for my marketing campaign. The dentist campaign didn't have anything live because we just launched that. So this is for my marketing campaign. I've got 3 to 5 keywords, I think, in my various ad groups, and yet there's 33 unique search queries this month from those 5 keywords. People looking for things differently. So let's say I see something irrelevant. Let's say I see the name of a competing dentist, or I see someone looking for dental work for free, or if they mention Medicare and Medicaid and we don't accept that, or a specific insurance carrier that we don't accept. I'm going to highlight that and I'm going to add as a negative keyword right here. Okay. Now we can also add negative keywords under campaigns. Let's go ahead and look at our campaign. And if I scroll down to keywords, sorry, I can see this right here, negative search keywords. This is at the campaign level. So if I know there's some keywords I don't want to include on the onset, I can go ahead and put those in here and not wait for them to populate. So I mentioned a joke here about me being a dentist. So I put Dr. Golden, free, Medicare, Medicaid. Um, tele, telehealth, teledentistry. If you don't do that, you get the idea. People looking for jobs, right? So come up with some negative keywords right when you launch this campaign and go ahead and build a negative keyword list. Don't wait for them to make, searches that you're paying for that aren't relevant. Go live in that search term report. Make sure that you see some good search terms. Add some negative keywords from the ones that are irrelevant. And as you start to see really good search term, it takes 2 or 3 days for that search term report to publish, by the way. Again, that's why we want to start conservatively. So go camp out in that. Go look at those search queries and add some negative keywords if you need to, and scale it from there. All right, we got a couple more things we got to do here. I got to cancel this because I want you also to add a call extension if you want to take phone calls, and that's going to be under assets right here. We're going to hit assets. And we actually mentioned a few assets when we built the ad. The call out and the site link. Those are assets under here in this tab. You can also add more images here. You can add a phone call asset, which I highly recommend. And then I also highly recommend dentists use the location. This is going to allow you to link your Google My Business listing, and people can click get directions, and you can actually track people clicking on get directions here. So definitely add this, definitely add the phone call. Don't forget to set up conversions in Google Analytics and import those goals. And that's the last thing I'm going to show you because I mentioned that at the top of the video. So over here on the left-hand side, we're going to hit goals. And you can see I've already imported some from GA4. You're going to first actually, well, if you've got it linked, which we'll get to in a second, you're going to create conversion action. And I'm going to import, and I'm going to select from GA4, web, and continue. Now I've imported my goals already, so there's nothing for them to import. But if you had goals for scheduling an appointment, for a phone call click, for a form submission, or a newsletter sign up or something, you would see those populate here and you would import and continue. I'm going to hit cancel because I got ahead of myself here. Under tools on the left-hand side, hit data manager, and this is where you would link your Google Analytics account to your Google Ad account. So you would hear connect product and then find Google. Mine's already connected, but you'd hit connect product and then hit GA4 and it will populate your account and you'll hit link. So guys, that's how I would build a very simple search campaign for a dentist. Remember, be conservative, start small. So live in your asset reports and your search term report. Make sure you've got conversions set up and feel free to leave comments and questions down below. Thanks for watching, guys.